What is up, you guys? It is your boy, the Powerful Swordsman here, aka the Bankai to the motherfucking Tencho, and welcome to Senron Discussions. The reason why I call it Senron Discussions is because I want to, mix it up a bit this time. I decided to name it that, but in other words, it's a Senron Kagura discussion, but I call it Senron Discussions because, since we have Senron Ni Neptunia, the whole Senron Kagura and Neptunia crossover and all that shit, I want to, put more Senron Kagura discussions together and, just mix in, put it a cool new name, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, like I said, welcome to Senron Discussions. In other words, Senron Kagura Discussions. And today I'm going to be bringing up a new discussion here. We got the Mikaruga sisters. I actually did a familiar topic like this. I did a familiar topic, a familiar discussion about this for Senron Discussions. And I actually covered the Ryo sisters, Ryobi, Ryona, and Ryoki. I actually did I did their backstories and all that shit and talked about it. So if you haven't seen that video, the video link is in the description. So check it out because that's actually a familiar one that I did. And this one right here is going to be just like that one a bit because, there's actually three sisters in the trio, just like there is Ryobi, Ryona, and Ryoki. These three sister trio right here are known as the Mikaruga sisters, and they were first introduced in Senron Kagura Estival Versus. The three of them consist of the eldest sister, starting with the eldest sister Renka right here. Then starting with, hold on, it's about to hit on the right. It's about to hit on the right. Starting on the right, we got Hanabi, the middle child. And then starting in the middle right here, who was supposed to be on the right, who was the youngest, is Kafuru. So Renka is the eldest, Hanabi is the middle child, and Kafuru is the youngest. Now I'm going to explain these three characters. Renka is the eldest sister. Renka, you could say she's like the leader of that team if you actually think about it. I don't have that much to say about Renka. She's mostly known for her belly dance and all that stuff. The way she tries to calm down Hanabi whenever she goes crazy. And I'm gonna get to Hanabi in a moment, but whenever Hanabi does some crazy shit, when she thinks too much, Renka basically uses her belly dance, and this was actually shown in the game. This was actually shown in the game on the art illustration. She uses her belly dance in order to get Hanabi to think of something different. So she's mostly like the brains on this team next to this is Estival Versus team back in the day. So she's actually like the brains of this team right here. The brains of this team. So Hanabi. Now Hanabi, like I said, I already said before, she has brain strain, and if y'all haven't seen my previous video talking about the top 5 most craziest personalities of Senron Kagura for certain characters, I suggest you check it out. But Hanabi has brain strain, and what that is basically when you ask her a question or something like that, she uses her brain too much. She overthinks too much, and it ends up going kaboom. In other words, she ends up causing a big fire with her fireworks and all that stuff by just literally going kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Hanabi means fireworks and all that stuff. We all know Hanabi means fireworks, so that's why it's her name. But her skills as a fireworks specialist is also what describes her name. Hanabi fireworks and all that stuff. So when you ask her too many questions, she starts, kaboom. It's like when you overload your brain and stuff, it's going to explode and stuff. Well, not in real life, but it's going to explode, and this is something that describes Hanabi in many ways. And like I said, Renka always uses her belly dance in order to, in other words, Renka draws something on her stomach in order to calm Hanabi down, just make her laugh at something like that, and it just, calm her down, and it makes her stop overthinking things and stuff. And just don't ask Hanabi too many questions, otherwise she's gonna go crazy and shit and start causing the whole place on fire. And Renka and Kafuru are always there to stop that fire whenever she uses too much fireworks after overthinking things. Now Kafuru almost reminded me of Mirai, except Kafuru actually has signs of tits. She's there. She's already at that stage, but Mirai's not at that stage at all. Not like literally in general, she's not at that stage at all. But Kafuru's kind of like Hibari a bit. Kafuru's like Hibari and she's like Hibari and Mirai, because the three of them, well, Minori too, because the four of them together are they're like the lollies or something like that. They're like the kids who almost want to be treated as adults as well. They want to be treated as adults and don't want to be looked down on. Mirai was the first to say don't look down on me and shit like that. So honestly, it just it honestly got me thinking that the four of them are alike in so many ways, and in different ways though. But they want to be treated like real women because Sayuri. And if you played through Kafuru's episodes, like the extra episodes after you beat the Kagura Millennium Festival story, you will see that Kafuru, like it's basically at least four or five episodes of Kafuru wanting to be treated like a woman, wanting to be treated like an adult, because of the way Sayuri was treating her and all that stuff, and how she was saying, "Oh, do you need a diaper change?" and all that shit like that. Like I don't even know, but Sayuri treats her more like a kid and all that stuff, and and then with Yagyu, with Hibari and all that shit, she's always staying by her side and stuff because she's sometimes clumsy. Mirai sometimes gets treated like a kid. Minori, I haven't really seen that much of Minori being treated like a kid that much, so I can't really say Minori because I think she has even bigger tits. She has bigger tits than Kafuru as well. But Kafuru doesn't like being looked down on, just like Mirai doesn't like being looked down on. So she's, like I said, she's the youngest. She is the youngest on the Mikaruga sisters team, and honestly, she is strong. She's very strong, like stronger than Hibari if you actually think about it. But in Senran Kagura, power levels don't really matter, I guess. I don't think they matter, especially when Shinobi are beating Shinobi one after another, and just, one is taking L's while the other, who is very strong, is taking L's too. So I don't even think power levels matter that much. Besides, fuck power levels. But Kafuru she's very strong. She's a good shrine maiden, just like her sisters. So there's nothing wrong with Kafuru. She's strong. The three of them over here are basically shrine maidens. They started off in a village, and Naraku was also in that village along with Kagura. What happened was their village was attacked. But before I start off with that, years ago, like literally years ago, when they were, I guess, young, they were playing hide and seek with a little girl. That little girl, we already know her as Kagura, and this is where the promise starts to show. Like, this is the promise is going to show up in a sec. But these three are playing tag with a little girl, and what happened is that she actually disappears after that. What happens is their village is attacked. The Mikaruga sisters' village is attacked, and what happened was Kagura was the one who saved them. Kagura saved them, and they wanted to search for the girl again, because mostly like their whole past was summoned up because they wanted to search for this girl after she saved their village. Kagura was the one who saved their village, and Naraku, I'm guessing Naraku decided to follow Kagura and all that shit, because Naraku was also from their village as well. But anyway, let us continue. After Kagura saved the Mikaruga sisters' village and all that shit, what happened was they made a promise. And the three of them found Kagura in a cave. Well, they didn't find her in a cave. They basically just heard a voice, but it wasn't the kid voice. It was later on like the whole, the adult voice and all that shit, because Kagura Kagura has the little red candy thing, the little red thing that you get from killing Yomas and all that stuff. With that, she can transform into her true Kagura form. So with that, she was saying to the three sisters that once they become Kagura leveled, Kagura rank shinobi, and we all know Kagura is the highest rank in Senran Kagura. It's the highest title of the shinobi in Senran Kagura. Just like how the word Kage and all that stuff, like Hokage, Raikage, or any of those high rank titles are the highest, are basically the top ninja in Naruto. Kagura rank is the top title in Senran Kagura, in the top shinobi. But Kagura said to the three of them, when you become Kagura rank shinobi, meet me again, we'll meet again and all that stuff. Truth is, they never became Kagura rank shinobi. They never did at all. And this is where Estival Versus starts up at. Estival Versus starts up pretty much after the whole backstories and all that shit. So, all the backstories are before these games were a thing and all that shit. So, blah, 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 blah. But, the three of them later on grow up to become even stronger. Sayuri brings them for the Kagura Millennium Festival, because they're going to need shrine maidens and all that stuff in order to help bring back, dead shinobi and all that shit, shinobi from the dead, in order to make this Kagura Millennium Festival more better and all that shit. And it was also used to train the girls in order for them to become even stronger, powerful enough in order to defeat Shin. Because, this isn't just a tropical resort or any of that shit. It's to train the girls to be even stronger. So when I got introduced to the Mikaruga sisters, it was actually first in the cutscene and all that stuff. It was first in the cutscene, but actually in the opening, it got me, like in the opening, I saw them and it was all like, yo, who are these other three girls right here? Are they new in the game? And then that's how I got introduced to the Mikaruga sisters and all that shit. Then I saw them in the cutscenes and all that stuff, and I still kept asking, who were they? So then, with that, like I said, there's shrine maidens who helped in the Kagura Millennium Festival. They're helping Sayuri. Sayuri is the old woman in the back. She is Asuka's grandmother, and she is in charge of the Kagura Millennium Festival. So, it honestly got me thinking that the Mikaruga sisters were strong as hell, and I don't know. It got me thinking that they're so damn stronger than Asuka and the others. But then again, this is Senran Kagura. So in Senran Kagura, you can pretty much any shinobi you fight or any shinobi you're against, you're definitely gonna lose. So it got me thinking back then, because it got me thinking that age had something to do with being a shinobi and all that shit. And I look at Midai and all that stuff, and how she's able to pull off a win against some shinobi even stronger than him and all that stuff. And I see other characters who are able to pull off wins against other characters and shit. And I realized this is Senran Kagura, so it's obviously gonna be a win depending on how you think and shit. So the Mikaruga sisters weren't all that to me. I used to think they were overpowered and shit because they were first introduced as introduced in this Senran Kagura game, in Senran Kagura Estival Versus. So it got me thinking maybe Sayuri hired some powerful shrine maidens / shinobis and stuff, but then as soon as I see them get their ass handed to them by Asuka and them, close to the end of the game and stuff, because sometimes they were taking losses. They were taking mad L's in Estival Versus. And anyway, later on in the game, there was one part of the chapter, I think at least a couple chapters close to, well, we call them days, but they're more like chapters too, because they have in Senran Kagura Estival Versus, you play the story like day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there were 8 days in the I think there were 8 or 7 days in the Kagura Millennium Festival story for Senran Kagura. I can check right now, but I got my controller off. And don't feel like turning it back on right now because I'm talking. But that's as far as it went. But in that certain chapter for the Mikaruga sisters, it was all about finding the little girl, that little girl we know as Kagura, because by this time the Mikaruga sisters did not know who Kagura was. So there was at least one chapter about the Mikaruga sisters wanting to find the little girl. Like I said, she's Kagura, but the 3 of them didn't know that she was Kagura. So that one chapter revolves around them having to find Kagura and look for her because they wanted to see this girl again. But even if they found her again, remember, they haven't made it to Kagura rank shinobi, and Kagura did say to them to find her again when the 3 of them become Kagura rank shinobi. And they actually later on found each other. In Peach Beach Splash. They never found each other in Estival Versus. They never even seen each other again. The Mikaruga sisters did not see Kagura again in Estival Versus. So Estival Versus, they didn't make any certain progress in finding Kagura. It was from what I remember, but yeah, it was in Peach Beach Splash that they met up again. And they met up again years after, after the promise they made and stuff. It was mostly about the promise. They didn't become Kagura rank shinobi, but I don't think Kagura even cared about that. What she did care about, I think, was that they at least got stronger throughout the years and all that stuff, and they have been training and all that stuff before she could meet up with them again. So Peach Beach Splash is pretty much where it ends at, where they meet up with Kagura again. I don't know what happens around New Link, and I'm not gonna explain that because I've never even played New Link, and I'm only gonna play it unless they have a PC release and all that shit. I don't know if they have a PC release, but if they have an English version and a PC release, then yeah, I'll go for it. I'll definitely go for it and talk more into the detail and stuff. But I'm only talking from events from Estival Versus leading up to Peach Beach Splash. But they do meet up with Kagura in Peach Beach Splash, and that's pretty much where it ends at. They do get revealed that the Mikaruga sisters do get revealed that the little girl that they saw years ago and that they made a promise with was later on revealed to be Kagura. Well, we all knew it was Kagura, but yeah, because Kagura has the little girl form, and in order for her to go into her true form, she has to, kill Yoma and all that shit. She's the Yoma destroyer, so she has to kill a lot of Yoma in order to, I think what she has is basically the Yoma souls and all that stuff. She eats the Yoma souls in order to go back into her true form, from what I remember. It's like a red little candy you usually see at the start of her intro when you start to fight as her and all that stuff. But that's how, that's why the Mikaruga sisters only saw her as a little girl, because Kagura was in her regular young form and all that shit when they met, when they were playing together and all that shit. And then, as soon as they went into the cave, that's when they made the promise. It was all meet me again when you 3 become Kagura rank shinobi. But Later on, past Peach Beach Splash, I'm gonna explain the trios and all that stuff because you know every in Samurai Conqueror there's always a 5-person team and all that stuff, a 5-person team of the hottest big boob babes and all that stuff. So you know we have Asuka and them who have Asuka, Ikaruga, Katsuragi, Hibari, and Yagyu who are a 5-person team. We got Homura, Yomi, Haruka, Hikage, and Mirai who are a 5-person team. Miyabi, Ryobi, Ryona, Imu, and Murasaki who are a 5-person team. And then Yumi, Minori, Shiki, Murakumo who are a 5-person team, and Yozakura who are a 5-person team. And you know, these three right here, in Estival versus, like, there's 2 5-person teams that the Mikaruga sisters are with. You know, like, there's 2 5-person teams, like the 2 in that 5-person team along with the Mikaruga sisters. I'm gonna start it off with Estival versus Renka, Hanabi, and Kafuru, along with Sayuri and Ryoki, who are basically a 5-person team. That's what we call the Estival versus team right there. But later on in New Link, I believe in New Link there was in New Link, the new two that were added together with the Mikaruga sisters is Kagura and Naraku. Kagura and Naraku along with the Mikaruga sisters are a team in New Link. So, you know, they're like I said, they are reunited and stuff. So I'm guessing after they reunite in Peach Beach Splash, they later on become a 5-person team, because this is also shown in the Samurai Conqueror, in the season 2 Samurai Conqueror anime, Shinobi Masters. It's shown in that one as well that the 5 of them are a 5-person team, that they're the new 5-person team, and that's basically the New Link team. What you see now is the Estival versus team, except Ryoki's not over here right now. Ryoki is with them along with Sayuri and the Mikaruga sisters as a 5-person team in Estival versus. But in New Link, it's with Kagura and Naraku along with the Mikaruga sisters. That's how it is now. That's the present team you see, and that's what you also saw in the Shinobi Masters anime, because in the Shinobi Masters anime by that time, I believe New Link was already a thing around that time, right? Was it? Or was it way before New Link came? I honestly forgot, but what y'all saw in New Link, what y'all saw in the Shinobi Masters anime were Kagura and Naraku and all that stuff, because you see Naraku over there as well, and then Kagura was also in the Shinobi Masters tournament as well. So yeah, they're basically the new team, the New Link team. So that's how y'all remember, that's how y'all need to know them now as. So, you know, it's no longer a team with Ryoki and Sayuri. It's now a team along with the Mikaruga sisters, along with Naraku and Kagura. So I basically just explained both teams that, you know, both teams from like one team from Estival versus, and the present team you guys see from New Link. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything about the Mikaruga sisters. It was the promise between them and Kagura, and how they would become Kagura ranked shinobi the next time they see Kagura. And sad to say, they never really did. Like, even throughout all of their fighting, all of their training, all that stuff, they never became Kagura ranked shinobi. So they couldn't keep their promise, but they were able to meet up with her again, and that's pretty much all that matters. And they are stronger than before. So honestly, I don't think Kagura gave a fuck about them becoming Kagura ranked shinobi or not. I'll have to check my Peach Beach Splash complete walkthroughs and shit to see how it went down. From what I remember, it's been a while, but yeah. Other than that, that is the backstory of the Mikaruga sisters. And, you know, leading up to this point, like I said, they made a promise to Kagura. The promise between the Mikaruga sisters and Kagura was that the next time they meet, they will have already become Kagura ranked shinobi. But as it stands, they have not become Kagura ranked shinobi, as we see. Other than that, you guys, that's pretty much the backstory of the Mikaruga sisters. I will see you guys later. It is your boy, the Powerful Swordsman here, aka the Bankai to the motherfucking Tencho, signing out.